do this the right way. You know what I didn't do? Yeah. Still forgot to do it even though I said I was supposed to do it. So let me do it right now. We got this, we got that. Ooh. Okay. Do this with my eyes closed. Question is, what really could you do with your eyes closed? Have you ever gotten to a point of you've done something so much, so consistently that you could do it blindly? So, welcome to the graffiti jungle. Parlo lingue. It means I speak multiple languages in Italian. I had a conversation with my best self, and my best self said something so calmly, almost took it as a sign of disrespect. Didn't even say something disrespectfully. Just said, I speak multiple languages in Italian. Parlo lingue. Benvenuti nella giungla del graffiti. That means welcome to the graffiti jungle in Italian. You know my slogan, no Joe Rogan, no Hulk Hogan. I'm just working on my slogan. Gotta find me a pretty Italian dragging a wagon like Megan Thee Stallion. You see, anything I give attention to turns better. I'm a trendsetter. It's like the black mafia boss got a vendetta. A bitch on a bull is a bitch for me as long as she ain't on bullshit. Welcome to the graffiti jungle. Benvenuti nella giungla del graffiti. Questo è Impastore Rockstar. This is the fake Rockstar chat show, a podcast sui cigar, Cigar Top Podcast. Sono il tuo capo. Io sono Julius Augustus Caesar Chief Gihareh K. Rail. 2 years of the podcast. 2 years of the podcast. We doing some cheap shit. So, I know I want to talk about essentially, when that thing hit, the essential workers. So, 2 years, right? 2 years. What's that been like? How did it start? How did we get here? Let me ask that. I got a couple things I wrote. Take note so I don't forget to mention. I'm in a whole nother dimension. So, the first few episodes, real short, turned out to just be some shorts. Episode 1, I recorded the day after my last day of teaching. The last day I could be considered a teacher, the very next day I had a photo shoot. Now, the crazy thing about this photo shoot, hold on, let me kind of be taught chronically. Before I stepped in there to go even take a photo, I had all my outfits lined up. I brought my guitar, three-piece this, a three-piece suit. If I say I need to see two breasts and thighs, I'm not talking about chicken. Three-piece. Had different vibes, different aesthetics. But before I walked in there, I was sitting in the Jeep and I lit up a cigar. It was gonna be a prop. And I had a conversation with myself. And I said, you gotta watch who you surround yourself with. Be careful who you talk to. I mean, what sense does it make? Not dime, nickels, and penny cents. You know what ain't common? What's your favorite? Sight, smell, taste, hear, touch. What's your favorite sense? Common. You know what ain't common? Sense. Not Bath and Body Works sense, but since we talking about that, what sense does it make to talk to somebody who has a limited mindset? If I have an abundant mindset, those things are just gonna rub off on me, and that's just something that's dangerous. So watch who you talk to and who you surround yourself with. They say if you're in a room of non-billionaires, you'll be the 10th one. Just watch who you surround yourself with. That was episode 1. Episode 2 was Eagle School. You can't send a duck to Eagle School. It'll never work. Ducks don't fly. Eagles do. And they fly high. So just remind, when you looking at me, I'm up in the sky. You can't send a duck to Eagle School. You know, the fishes in the sea, the gorillas, the apes, the silverbacks, the monkeys is in the trees. Everybody has a place. But the place for me, can't send a duck to Eagle School. Episode 3, guerrilla tactics. Guerrilla. Guerrilla tactics. You know, how you gonna market yourself and publicize, and you know, ain't no such thing as bad publicity, and that's the Wolf of Wall Street. But guerrilla tactics, how you really gonna market, you know, if you just are art and you creative, you trying to understand the business sides, guerrilla tactics. I ain't even talk about that. I talked about, you know, this is a 2-year celebration, so I gotta, sometimes I refrain from mentioning certain people like my uncle, like the people that I hate. I refrain, like the people that help this person, you know, like this person. Oh man, I don't even like to say these people's names, but these are people that I can't forget. They say forgive and forget. I just can't forget because that's the motivation for me to keep going. I can't forget because that hatred that I have for certain people keeps me going. Because I had to build a life for me that these people couldn't have access to me. Thank goodness I'm not in charge of saving souls. Because I'll be damned I wouldn't save your soul. But that's not a thing for me. You know what they might say back to me? Well, I feel like my soul got saved when you wasn't around me, when you no longer had access to me and you were no longer in my life, I felt like my soul got saved because with you in my life, it felt like hell on earth. Why we gotta die to see heaven? That was episode 3. Then I got locked away because these 3 people decided to scheme against me and come up against. I said, okay. I got out episode 4. I talked about, you know what I'm saying, somebody who has a tattoo that was similar. I had it on my neck. They had it on the middle of their head. I said, what does that mean for you? That was episode 4. And then episode 5, I decided to travel. I said, let me buy something for myself. Let me go figure out how much this costs, and let's really invest and do a travel cigar talk podcast. So episode 5 was that, and then I stopped numbering. I lost track of the episode. So that's how it started. And now, let's see. Now on this journey, we're gonna keep it about cigars and tobacco. There's a couple cigars that really, you know, direction, correction, left, right. The first cigar that I fell in love with, my father, Floridian Tears. That was the first cigar I fell in love with. I was sitting by the pool. My phone was overheated. I couldn't use it. Or maybe the battery went out. I'm not sure, but I sat by the pool because it's what would you do when nobody's around? I just sat in my journal and I just puffed my cigar by the pool. And I just heard the cigar, and that was the first cigar I fell in love with. The next one was Leaf by Oscar. Now they have a couple of those, but the Maduro is the one that, and the Maduro and the Criollo, those are the 2. But the Maduro is the first one. And I like because it's a lot of them, everybody want to be real and fake. Don't know the difference between real and fake anymore, but this one wasn't wrapped in plastic. Rip me out the plastic, I'm acting brand new. This one wasn't wrapped in plastic, it was wrapped in a tobacco leaf, and that just seemed natural to me. Leaf by Oscar Maduro. Those were the first 2 cigars that really, I was like, that's a staple. And then the number 9. If you add 9 to anything, it's a cyclic number. For those who study numerology, will be able to appreciate. For instance, 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 is a 1 and a 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. If you add 9 to 3, you get back to 3. Simple as that. But it was a flying pig. And I ended up dedicating the season just to flying pigs. And then you got a one that comes before and the one that comes after. A successor is the one that comes after. That was the T52. I thought it was the number 9. I grabbed it accidentally, and I was like, damn. So flying pigs were the next 2, the number 9 and T52, my favorites. But I started going to different cigar shops, and there was one, and I seen the owner puffing the pipe, and I'm just like, how does that work? So on Valentine's Day, February 2024, I got myself a cigar pipe, a corn cob. I got a corn cob cigar pipe, and I started trying different flavors of tobacco to see which one I like, and I fell in love with the peach cobbler. So I dedicated the season to the peach cobbler. In 2025, I learned about pina colada. Now those are the top 2 flavors that I really just enjoy. And now the thing about tobacco and cigars, With the tobacco and the cigar pipe, you can get much more puff sessions and more longevity for the podcast if that's what I'm trying to invest into. So it just seemed I could buy one cigar, which should just go like that. Or if I took that same amount and got some tobacco, it would last me a little bit longer. More sessions, more days. So that's why I enjoy that as well. Because it's about the options. And then every once in a while you got the cheaper option. It's not necessarily the best option, but I just have to invest in my podcast. That's why this right here comes in a 2-pack. Cheap shit, less than $2. I fuck with that. And so I have to mention that, I wanted my first box of cigars to be one of them 10, 12, you know what I'm saying? That's $300. My first pack was cheap pack of 4 or 5. I started doing a couple of those. I don't want to be remiss. This is number 102. This is number 102. Now, going along with the podcast, we started to do seasons. Today's date is July 11th. So, 2024, July 11th, I started season 2. I started to try to keep track of my episodes. Also, you start working, but what you gonna spend your money on? You gotta spend money, make money. That's what some people say. But you gotta start saving up for certain things too. So, season 2, I started keeping track of things, but I was like, I gotta save, and I can't just be spending so frivolously on certain things, and you gotta learn how to budget. Priorities. So season 2 lasted for a while. In season 3, the motivation for season 3 was to actually force myself to continuously edit. Season 3, I think I had a remote control truck. For me, it was me getting close to a red Jeep Gladiator. A red Jeep Gladiator. I got a remote control truck. The unfortunate part of this remote control truck, it couldn't even go up the slightest of incline. So season 3 started a new season because my remote control truck couldn't go up an incline. My Jeep did, my Rubicon. I wanted a Jeep Gladiator. So season 3, I ended up getting a Lamborghini. I got a red, a white, and a black Lamborghini, and I wanted them to race. Remote control. I wanted to do a lower race. And then at the end of that season was when I had that T52, and I was like, let me start speaking Italian. So I knew French. You took Spanish in middle school, but Italian, it wasn't an option. This is 102. We're gonna move to 103. Cheap shit. Less than $2. Even with tax. I'm just speaking facts. Well, you see, they trying to study you to see how you maneuver like the rats in the sewer, running around in manure. They trying to see how you maneuver. This is 103. No Jeezy. 103. Yeah. um, Season 4. Mayale Volante. Mayale Volante means flying pig. Cigari. Mayale Volante Cigari. Flying pig cigar in Italian. Dedicated to season 4. Season 5. Dedicated to peach cobbler. Tobacco. They said, who's your greatest rapper? Drop one line and let everybody know. I ain't gotta say no lines and you ain't gotta say nothing. You hear that? You know who the greatest rapper is. So, season 6, I said, welcome to the graffiti jungle. Season 6, if it's the graffiti jungle, you see the logo. Season 6, Triceratops. Season 7, I said I need some different type of visuals, something aerial. Not, you know what I'm saying, a little mermaid in the deep blue sea. Did Christopher Columbus sail the ocean blue in 1492 or the deep blue sea in 1493? I don't know. This is Cigari 103. Uno, due, tre. So, season 7 got a drone. The visuals, terrible. Cheap shit. That drone was $25. Amazon Prime is going on right now. That drone came, I said same day delivery. Same day delivery. Cheap shit. $20 drone. You thought you was gonna get some good visuals? So I said, let me get back on my movie shit. I said, I came to see a lady about a flying pig, you dig? I started off with a dream. No Martin Luther King. But that movie started off with a dream. And then a box fell out the sky. It was the first time I ordered some cigars. Ordered 2 flying pigs. They came in a box. I said, let me do my movie. That's not on Tubi. We're gonna make a YouTube movie. Ottavo Stagioni. That's season 8. Season 9. Again, let's switch up the visuals. I got an actual camcorder. Just in case when I run out of, if I don't got signal, and I can't really do this, I can just record extra visuals. Season 9. I got a DVR recorder. Cheap shit. The visuals are still bad. But we got another way to record it. So then, season 10, I know season 10 I got a T-Rex. I know the season finale for season 10, it's a T-Rex versus a Triceratops type shit. Graffiti jungle. Then I seen this shorty saying some cryptic things, and I said, let me respond to this, but we're gonna call it the gray. No Christian gray, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna call it the gray season. Did it all in black and white. No gray area, no in-betweens. Let me talk straight, bluntly, frankly, directly. The gray season. But that whole dominatrix shit, I kind of fuck with it. Conceptually, mentally. Then season 12. Season 12 and season 13 I always seem to forget. But season 13, I got a sewing machine. Season 12, I keep forgetting. It was already written. And I'm just sitting back, sitting. I'm trying to make sure I can, and I already reminded myself, what the hell was season 12? Season 12. I failed again. Season 12 was, I wrote this down. I always seem to forget. What the hell was season 12? Do I not like it? Season 12. I made a hoodie, the Scream hoodie. I painted this bitch on the back. Matter of fact, the motivation behind any and all of that, there was this, I went to the mall one day, I was hand rolling cigars. I hand rolled some cigars at the mall and I said, let me get some visuals. Shorty had a shirt, it was a Jaguar shirt, and I didn't really know how to, I just knew I liked it, but it had this Scream Jane all over it, so I just kind of just painted that design on the hoodie. I couldn't really afford that, I just wanted to see myself in it, and I got a visual with it, but I painted up my own hoodie. So season 12, I knew it was the hoodie, I should have said that. I just didn't want to make sure, but season 12 was a hoodie conversation. Season 13, sewing machine. I started, you know what I'm saying, putting shit together. Let me ask this. Cause this cheap shit, you know, the good ones, you tell by the ash of the cigar. Is it a lighter? You looking for like that white ash. The darker, you're not supposed to really. That's cheap shit. It might fall. Everything after that be season 14. Louis the 14th. Io sono Louis the 14th. Let me say quattordici. That's 14 in Italian. Louis quattordici. Io sono Louis quattordici. I'm Louis the 14th in Italian. Season 14, back on road. Season 15, really back on road, living out the whip again. Me and Bailey though, feel me? Season 15, Thugger. Free Thugger till Thugger free, not Thugger free, and we still wanting some good music. Season 16 was the first week of January 2025. I'm like, I'm gonna edit, I'm gonna put some shit together. I got a tarantula. I went to the Lamborghini dealership. Season 17, started thinking about, how I want to live, and I want to live in a rose gold glass ranch house. But I saw this greenhouse, and I started getting plants. So season 17 is me putting plants inside the greenhouse and getting visuals. I'm talking, we had to have a conversation with Mr. Strauss, Levi Strauss. You know how you get paid and you walk into the polo store and say, I need to talk to Lauren personally. We had a conversation with Ralph Lauren, Mr. Strauss, Levi Strauss, and of course Tommy Hilfiger, go figure. Then that was season 17. And then shit got quiet. I wasn't even like focused on seasons. We got a couple playlists in a series. But then you know what they say, when y'all break up, she gonna win game 1. You gotta focus on game 2 through 7. It's a series. But then season 18, Bailey passed away June 5th, 2025. She was 5 years old and not a month older. She was 5 years old and literally not a month older. Like, it was like 21 days or something. She passed away on June 5th, 9:59 p.m. I ain't really know what to do. Season 18, we got a tent. I put the tent up, and I'm just like, damn, I wish Bailey was here. That's season 18. So, 2 years, 18 seasons, mad playlists, 9,000 videos. All of that is just there, you know. All that's just there. 2 years. 2 years later, what you doing differently? What you still doing the same of? You know, I used to see people. Matter of fact, even when they went to McCollum, bro. Before I got my second degree, you know, you go to a HBCU, historically black university or college or university, HBCU, historically black college or university. Then that's my undergrad, master's, post-grad degree. Went to a PWI, predominantly white institution. I met this one shorty. She said she had a double major. I said, why you got a double major? She said, I'm too talented, too gifted to be in one career. I said, damn, I fuck with that. I always remember that. She said, I'm gonna do this for a while. You know, some people, they living off the decisions they made at 18. They living off their teenage decisions. You know what they say. Some people is, you scared to live? You scared to go out here and do this, that, and the third? You scared to live and you scared to die? You gotta pick one. Some people don't die. Some people die at 18, but they're not buried until they 72. So I met one teacher. Teacher said, yeah, I'm gonna do 30 years in the trenches. That particularly didn't sit well with me. 30 years as one thing, couldn't do it. I met somebody else, they said they spent this much time. I said, this is what you're doing? Couldn't with me. But that's just me. So I left that. I'm doing this, doing something different. Evolution, evolving, growth. How can you even prove that you had any type of growth if you still doing the same things? You think the same way you used to think. If the best years of your life was in high school, how many years ago? The best years of your life was in college, how many years ago? So, even within these 2 years, building, increment. You know what they say, brick by brick, literally. If I had to sit there and write down brick by brick, and each thing that we had to put together, and we still building. The vision ain't still where I've envisioned it at. The vision is still not where I envisioned it at. We still building. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments. Build. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments of nothingness. You got a lot of excuses. An excuse is a justified reason. You got a lot of excuses for why you ain't doing the things that you should be doing, want to be doing. You helping somebody else build their empire. So I let a lot of things go just because it just didn't serve. No volleyball, serve. I'm trying to hit the Lamborghini and swerve. You know what they say? You got some nerve. So, how long it take for you to really reach where you want to go? Be where you want to be who you want to be. And you know what they say, it's not about finding yourself, but it's not, it's not what they say. It's just something I thought about before. Some people go throughout this life trying to find themselves when you could flip that, spin that, and really create yourself. When they talk about projection, what image are you projecting out into the world? How do you want to project yourself? How do you see yourself? I said a bitch on a bull is a bitch for me. I see so many different versions of myself. I'm not in the grill, cooking on the grill. I'm just saying. I, right now, I am on a balcony right now. But and there is some water. But if I was in Jamaica on a balcony, and I might do a little ASMR. You feel me? Like, I might not say nothing. Because some people say, this not healthy for you, but it's peaceful to me. So that means it's healthy for me. But to be on the balcony, I'm talking about with a pretty bitch who suck dick. To be on a balcony with a pretty bitch who suck dick confidently, I'm just trying to look at the water. I'm trying to then go out and get on a bamboo raft. If I was to show y'all my journal right now, I already got a rough draft of my 9th book. I ain't even mentioned that. I talk a lot about the merch after doing some research, but within 2 years, I published 8 books. And I started working on my 9th one. I already got a rough draft, but I'm trying to be in Jamaica on a bamboo raft. I ain't no god, but you gonna feel my wrath. I just played Pokemon, and then I was reading the old school version of Pokemon. I wasn't even reading the old school version. I was watching on YouTube a video that had pictures of the old school Pokemon, and I don't know the difference between Ash and Red, not the color red, but I'm talking about the character from Pokemon. That nigga had a Poliwrath. Okay, we're doing a little bit of poetry, you feel me? So, I said, within these past 2 years, I published 8 books. My 9th one is in my book. That's my rough draft. I'm trying to be in Jamaica, somewhere, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Negril, on a bamboo raft. I said, I ain't no god, but you gonna feel my wrath. That nigga Red from Pokemon threw out a Poliwrath. I did used to teach math. I'm talking on a Cartesian plane in a graph. Listen, I'm really just playing. I'm not saying that I'm a Super Saiyan, but if Dragon Ball Z and anime is your preference, eat the cake, anime. I guarantee. Buonasera, buonasera. That's how you say good evening in Italian. I gotta find me a pretty Italian dragging a wagon like Megan Thee Stallion. He said, you don't need friends like me. You know, a lawyer and a doctor in New York, you don't need friends like me. But now you come to me on my daughter's wedding, me asking for, and you don't even think to call me the Godfather. You need people like me. So you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. You see me? I don't have that problem. You see me? I always tell the truth, even when I lie. What'd that make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. You need people like me. So say goodnight to the bad guy. Who the fuck you think you fucking with? 23-hour lockdown. Shoot program, nigga. I'm the police. I run shit here. You just live here. Go on, walk. I'ma burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got it. Denzel said that. You see, patience is a virtue. But I ain't never wait long enough to say the motherfucker was true. That's when the harder they fall. I was working on my acting shit. Anybody coming to see you, Otis? Matter of fact, I was thinking about changing the name of the Temptations to David Ruffin and the Temptations. Yeah. The group. Rockstar Games presents, in collaboration with Graffiti Jungle, non-playable character. Fatality. Finish him. Perfect. That NPC, non-playable character. Let me play my air guitar. Fake rock star. Impostore rock star. Gotta say it in Italian. They don't understand me when I speak in English. I'm trying to figure out what language I gotta say it so they understand me. But you don't understand me, so let me explain. You thought Lil Wayne was Weezy, but Weezy is Wayne. It's like, why you even trying to be understood? There ain't no point. what is the point? I told you I used to teach math. And a point is finite. A line is infinite. A line never stops. You just keep on going and going, and then if you put a collection of lines, you got a plane. Plane is supposed to be a flat surface, but a planet, the word plane with a T at the end, just gotta add a little something to it. Somebody said, if our shadow is a 2D version of ourselves, bitch, I'm trying to understand, do they pay bills in other dimensions? Let me know. What bills they gotta pay in the 4D, 5D, and the other? Are there bills in the other dimensions? Now, I do have one more video to edit. I have one more video to edit. I got a couple quotes. I'm gonna edit that up. I'm just gonna call that quotables. One more left in the back. Cheap shit. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Four packs. 4.5. Got 9. 4.5 times 2. 4.5 times 2. So, it's a 2-year cigar tar celebration, kind of, sort of, yeah. That finishes that, and then I got this one more video to edit. Like, those are like literally all those things are just now knocked out. On this, again, the 2-year celebration, technically, I'm not sure if I want to celebrate on the 29th, like for overall type thing, or the 31st. 29th is when the footage was recorded. 31st was when it was posted. Let's make a decision here. You know the funny shit is how July and August both had 31 days, and those 2 months are right next to each other, and they're not supposed to have, they're not both supposed to have 31 days. Um, we'll say, mm, I'm trying to remember which date sounds better, July 29th or July 31st. The visual was recorded on the 29th. It was edited and posted on the 31st. Well, if it was up to Julius Caesar, Julius took a couple days and put them here. So should I go from Julius' perspective or Augustus' perspective? Augustus would say, you don't have as many days. Julius would say, I made it this way. I'm going to say July 31st. I'm going to say July 31st to include that day. Not greater than another. That's what I'm going to say.